What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to go over the new team that I've been using here. It's a super fun team. It's gonna feature Urshifu, running Protect, Surging Strikes, Aqua Jet, Close Combat with the Mystic Water. This is a very bulky set. It has no speed investment at all, and you'll see why we're running it that way here in just a moment, but we'll get to one of the stars of the show here, Spikemuth. It's running Protect, Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot, and Substitute. Substitute is very good for making sure you're able to get those nasty plots off, especially paired with Follow Me Clefairy and Fake Out Rillaboom. It is running the spell tag, since its only attacking move is Shadow Ball, so it does boost our ghost type moves. Then we've got Clefairy running Friend Guard to help make our team even more bulky than they already are. It's running Protect, Follow Me, Helping Hand, and then this last spot, there was a few different moves I considered here. I did strongly consider going with Moonlight. That way Clefairy could heal itself up, make sure it sticks around to redirect for even longer. But I did decide that Icy Wind was better to give us a little bit of speed control. And then the next mon is Neolago, and that is our other main form of speed control here. It's running Protect, Power Gem, Sludge Bomb, and then Trick Room. This is a very different Nihi set than normal. Usually you would run it max speed, max special attack, or near enough. But this one is actually max special attack and max defense with a focus sash. That way we can make sure we get off those Trick Rooms. That way our min speed Urshifu and Heatran can really shine. Speaking of which, Heatran, it is running Protect, Flamethrower, Earth Power, and it's also running Substitute with a Choppleberry. This is to help in the Stack Attacka matchup. So if we think they're going to set up Trick Room, we lead Heatran, make sure we get up a sub, and then once they break the sub, we can take at least one body press and make sure we get off that Earth Power when in Trick Room. And then last but not least, we have Rillaboom running the Grassy Surge with Grassy Glide, Woodhammer, Fake Out, and U-Turn. I do feel like Woodhammer is the best move for that slot over coverage. Just in case the other guy is running Serena, we want to be able to get off a big grass move into opposing Tapu Finis and the like. And then of course it is running the Assault Vest to make it a little bulky. So I just wanted to go over the move sets here, kind of why I decided to use each move and mon. And then next I'm gonna feature a set that I played in a tournament last weekend, and I want to go over kind of how I approach best of threes and the adjustments you'll make from game 1 into game 2, because I feel like that's a very valuable skill that a lot of first time VGC players don't really understand. So I really wanted to highlight this and try to give everyone a leg up on playing competitively. Alright, so we'll get right into game 1 here. So main thing you want to do in game 1 is try to get as much information on your opponent's team as possible, like items, move sets, as much info as you can glean about the EV spreads, while trying to conceal as much of that information as you can from your opponent. Of course, you always want to win game 1. That will make the rest of the set a lot easier, but there are 3 games altogether, so it's okay to to lose game one as long as you set yourself up well enough that you can take the win in the following 2 games. So that's my goal here in game one. I want to kind of get a feel for how my opponent plays and see what, kind of get a feel for his team here. So I'm thinking long and hard about what I want to do. I really like Spikemuth into most of his team, but he has the Galarian Moltres there, which is a huge threat to Spikemuth. So I'm going to go Nihilego because it is very good into Moltres, as well as Finny and Ensign. Then we go Heatran, which is a good into a good portion of his team, as well as Rillaboom. And then I do decide to go with Urshifu in the last spot. That way I have plenty of things I can hit Moltres with. So here we go. And looks like he is going to go Alecki and Serena. That way he can protect his Alecki from Fake Out and Grassy Glide. So this lead is decent into what he brought here. Take a look here, see if I think he is going to switch out, what he's going to do. So this Nihi set is a little bit different, having Trick Room. So I do consider just going for the Sludge Bomb or switching out here. But I do want to take care of Serena as quickly as possible. That way Rillaboom can do its thing. But I do decide to go with the Trick Room here and then the Earth Power into Alecki. I really think I should have concealed the Trick Room and saved that for later on in the set. Probably not the best to reveal that straight away, especially since that's not a super common move on Nihi. Most of the time they're going to be running the Meteor Beam sets, but as you see here, he does just Volt Switch into Heatran. That takes over half from that. And he does just bring Serena back out. So Earth Power going off into Serena. Doesn't do a whole lot. Should have just went with the Flamethrower there. But we do get Trick Room up. But he has Finny on the board as well as Serena. So we're not in a great position here. Because despite having Min Speed, Nihilego, and they're both very threatened by Tapu Fini here, as Muddy Water will do a good chunk to bowl. So Heatran retreats. We do go out into Boomer, get the grassy terrain going. Unfortunately though, we won't have access to Grassy Glide thanks to Serena or Fake Out. But out comes the Power Whip here. It is a very defensively bulky Nihi, but it can't take the combination of Power Whip and Muddy Water. So the Trick Room really working against us here. I definitely should have got a better feel for the speed tiers before I tried to set up Trick Room. If I was to go back and play again, that's definitely one thing that I would go try to conceal the Trick Room and get a feel for the speed tiers to see if Trick Room is even going to be necessary, because despite having a very bulky slow team, most of the mons that he is running are even slower if they're not running any kind of speed investment. So Urshifu pretty threatened here, didn't have a much better option since Heatran was in the back, but out comes the Grassy Glide, so using our terrain against us, and a Moonblast, so he does just double up into us here. So game one looking like a rout here, and that's all because I set up that Trick Room without without doing the main thing that you want to do in game ones, and that is scout. So because I didn't scout, I do get punished here, and this is very, very one-sided. So one good thing about this is my opponent here doesn't learn a whole lot about my team, because I didn't have a whole lot to a chance to do anything. I just got doubled into and knocked out so far. So but we did get good information on his team. We got a feel for the speed tiers here, so we are despite the loss are in a decent position just from all the information that we were able to gain. So I really want to see if my Rillaboom here is slower than Finny. Out comes the U-turn. And another good thing about this is we got my opponent, he's going to be feeling confident going into game 2 because it was such a rout. So we can use that to our advantage, as once again he just doubles up into the slot. So Heatran could have protected there, but I did just want to get a feel, see how bulky Finny is. Of course it's not able to live a Wood Hammer here, so it wasn't a complete rout. We didn't get 4-0'd, but it was pretty close here, as he brings Alecki out right as Trick Room is ending to once again threaten Heatran here. So the Serena giving us major problems here in the first game. So now going into game 2, I know that that's something that I will have to play around, as well as the fact that he has a very slow, bulky team, and he uses the Regieleki for speed control. So we know that the Trick Room isn't going to be mandatory, and we learn from that and go from there. And we do now know that Serena runs Grassy Glide. And we see that the Flamethrower doesn't pick up from there. So we're better armed for game 2 here. Not the way you want game 1 to go, but we took what information we could from it. And now we're going to try to improve in game 2. So going right into it, the thing I know I need to do here is go with a completely different mode here, because what we tried in that game did not work at all. So going into this, I didn't bring Spectrier or Clefairy, which is a very strong mode on this team. That's the fast mode here. So I do decide I want to go straight into the Ghost Horse. Debating if I want to bring Nihi, that way if he leads Moltres, we can threaten big damage into it. But Nihi not great into much of the rest of his team, so I do lead Rillaboom. That way we can threaten Fake Out Grassy Glide. If Serena is not on the field, he can always switch it in, but if he's having to hard switch to get Serena in, then that, is a time that he's not attacking. So I bring Nihi and then Clefairy in the back here. So let's see what adjustments my opponent made here. He does just go right back to the Regieleki and the Serena. So he just dominated the first game with that, so he does decide he's just going to do it again here. so he doesn't know what my Spectrier wants to do here, because he did not get to see it in game 1. Trying to decide if I think he'll stay in, if I think he will switch. Normal tactic with this lead is to try to fake out and then set up a sub or a nasty plot. Of course, unable to fake out here, so I'm just going to shadow ball the Alecki and U-turn off the Serena. He does volt switch into my Rillaboom here. And goes into Tapu Fini here, so we will get some free damage on Fini as he gets rid of our grassy terrain. It wasn't doing a whole lot there. It would have made our Wood Hammer a little stronger, as we saw Fini couldn't take that anyway. So unfortunately we didn't call that, but we do double into the Serena and get the KO with a critical hit here. So this really frees up my Rillaboom, which is great into Tapu Fini and Regieleki, as now we can pressure with the fake out and the grassy glide. So that was a great first turn here. The adjustment really paid off here, and doubling Serena there was a good choice. So he does go back into the Regieleki here. So we do have a redirection here, but he does have double spread moves, as he has the Electrowebs and the Muddy Water. So we're just going to protect with Spectrier and go for the Icy Wind here with Clefairy. That's why I decided to run that move over Moonlight. For situations like this, I can protect Spectrier and go with the Icy Wind. So he does go Webs here, which losing speed on Clefairy, not a big deal. And he just goes for the Calm Mind. That's just fine. We have Boomer in the back, and no amount of Calm Minds will protect Fini from a Grassy Glide or a Wood Hammer. So we do get the Icy Wind off here. So if Alecki was sashed, that sash is broken. So I'm not sure here if Alecki is going to be slower than Spectrier at this point. So I do decide just to go for the Shadow Ball into that slot, debating, and I go for the Helping Hand. That way if he Volt switches, oh, and he just hard switches here. So he goes into the Mamoswine. He wanted to make sure that that Icy Wind did not allow Spectrier to outspeed here. So big Shadow Ball coming into the Mamo here. And we do learn that it is what is running the Focus Sash, so that's good information as well. Muddy Water comes out here. We do have Friend Guard, so Spectrier takes that very well. So he is threatening an Ice Shard here. I do decide I just want to get rid of Mamoswine, that way nothing is super threatening to Rillaboom, and I just follow me. That way I can make sure he doesn't get off that Ice Shard. A good play by my opponent there. He does just go for the Protect. We protect on our Clefairy here. That way we can preserve that Friend Guard. And he just goes for a Calm Mind. So good play there. He gets off the free Calm Mind. But if we knock out Mamoswine here, then we will get the Chilling Neigh boost on Spectrier. So I'm just going to go Icy Wind here, just for the chip on both sides. That would have taken out Mamo, but I do want to get that Chilling Neigh boost on Spectrier. Or I'm sorry, the Grim Neigh boost here. It's not Calyrex Shadow Rider. But we get the Grim Neigh going. Clefairy does go down here. Spikemuth still hanging around. He does get the accuracy drop, which is not great here. But now we can bring out Rillaboom and pressure the Fake Out and the Grassy Glide here. And we do get Grassy Terrain going, so we can get a little health back on the Ghost Horse here if he does stick around. So I expect to protect from Alecki, so I go Shadow Ball into Finny, as well as the Wood Hammer. He does go Webs here, which does take out Spikemuth. But that's okay, because we did get a couple of speed drops on the Finny here, so despite the Electro Web, we are still faster. And as we know, the Wood Hammer gets the Oko here. So Rillaboom very, very chipped here, but we still have a full health Sash Nihi in the back. And we are threatening Grassy Glide here, so no matter what here, we will get the Grassy Glide off, as well as an attack from Nihilego. So go Sludge Bomb Glide. And Glide just picks up. So, from that, we see that most likely that is just a max speed Alecki, not very bulky, because the Glide does over 3/4 there. So we did make great adjustments there in game 2. We're able to take that one in a pretty convincing fashion after getting just demolished in the first game. So going into game 3, we have a lot more information, but spoiler alert, I'm not going to cover game 3. We did end up losing there. Went back into Spikemuth because he didn't bring Moltres the first 2 games. I should have expected that adjustment and went back into Heatran in that last game. He ended up bringing Moltres and not bringing Tapu Fini after Rillaboom just demolished it. So a good adjustment there would have been to bring Heatran, leave Spikemuth, or possibly bring Spikemuth and Heatran along with, definitely would have wanted Nihi, so a good adjustment would have been go Spikemuth, Heatran, Nihi, and Rillaboom there. And I think we would have done very good, but it didn't work out. That sometimes happens, so what you do, you just learn from it and then put it behind you and move on to the next set. You don't want to get tilted. You want to just keep playing your game. So just wanted to go over that with you guys. Thanks for stopping by. You could give me a like and a follow. Hit that subscribe button. It's always appreciated. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see y'all next time.